Shy Guys. Small, cloaked figures with a white mask that romp around the Mario universe. I've always loved these little guys since I first encountered them way back yonder. Since then, they've been my go-to picks in the Mario sports titles. Besides Waluigi, of course. I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of hard to compete with someone that amazing. But Shy Guys in general have always held a special place in my heart. However, as most of you probably know, they weren't always a thing. They were introduced a long time ago, but history could have certainly been different. Before diving into the meat of this, let's take a quick moment to recap what actually happened.
Yume Kojo 87来年夏オープン
In 1987, there was an event held in Japan called Yume Kojo 87. According to online documentation, it was held by Fuji TV from July 18th through August 30th to celebrate all the good times they brought to the people of Japan. If you want to know more about that event, and honestly, the untold history that I haven't been able to find anywhere else, I highly recommend checking out the full documentary about it from YouTuber Guy Jillionaire. I actually discovered it after starring this video and was blown away by the knowledge within. There's a link in the description below for when you're done with this video. In preparation for this event, which translates to Dream Factory, they create tons of promotional material, one of the final ones being Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic. This was a game that featured the mascots of the event, and played into the theme of masks. After the event, Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic would eventually become what the USA knew as Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, this was different than the normal Mario sequel that Japan got, but this honestly changed everything about Mario for the future generations. The decision to not release Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels over here, due to how similar it was, but also how much more difficult it was than the first game, is what birthed the idea of repackaging Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic over for the States. But through this process, the 8-bits, who are the masked enemies of Subcon, were transported to the world of Mario. But the idea of this is baffling if you think about it. I mean, one meeting could have changed everything we know about Mario. If they decided to ship the Lost Levels to the USA because reskinning Doki Doki Panic would have been too expensive or long of a process, then technically this game would have faded from our memories just like the actual event did. I mean, I would have loved to know what Yume Kojo was, but up until now, I never knew what it actually entailed. But without it, everything about Mario would be different. First and foremost, the structure of some of our favorite games would be changed. Anytime a game had a focus on an enemy from Doki Doki Panic, it would have been different. Try to imagine Mario without Shy Guys, Sniffets, Bob-ombs, Birdos, and even Pokies. Immediately, Super Mario 64 becomes a different game. Without the introduction of Bob-ombs, the first level of the game doesn't exist. There isn't a battlefield, and unless they choose a different enemy to have a war being fought against, I imagine the concept of the first level of the game would be entirely different. Without Bob-ombs, that means Chukjas also probably don't exist since their design is based off of them. Super Mario 64 also wouldn't have Snuffets, the ghostly cousins of Sniffets. Fly Guys wouldn't be a thing either, which I guess I don't mind so much. That fire killed me so many times. How about other games heavily inspired by the enemies created for Doki Doki Panic? Imagine Super Mario RPG without these enemies. Punchinello pretty much wouldn't be a thing because he thrives off of Bob-omb specific attacks. Shysters of the Mushroom Kingdom, the underlings of Mac and Smithy, are now void and gone. Booster doesn't have any staff in his tower because Sniffets govern the place. And worst of all, who would I chase Beetles for? Without the Sniffet trio, Booster wouldn't go out and get the Beetles himself. Beetles R Us would be closed. Swinging over to another part of the world, Bezos/Shyaways or Winged Shy Guys would be absent. So we'd have to have a different gardener to trigger the fight with Mega Smilax. Birdo would also be gone from the palace in Nimbus Land. And Shy Guy's toy chest wouldn't be a thing. One of my favorite places in Paper Mario would have been replaced with something entirely different. How else would I have farmed my endless supply of cake mix? But really, this is only the tip of the iceberg. There's plenty of other games that would have changed without the inclusion of these characters, but the entire Mario cast would have been changed as well. Try to imagine Armada's Peach without the ability to fly. How would the Super Smash Bros. Melee community be different if Peach's flight ability wouldn't have carried over? She also wouldn't have her vegetables to throw, since those are directly from Doki Doki Panic. Beyond that, Luigi being the higher jumper and having an element of floatiness to him when compared to his brother, started here as well. His playstyle in later games may have actually shifted because of this. The Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad lineup of games, like Super Mario 3D World, could have still happened, but they were certainly derived from the original lineup in the past. Perhaps Wario would have been thrown into the mix instead, or other characters in general. Overall, everything would have changed about the Mario universe. It's very likely other characters and enemies would have been invented in the place of Doki Doki Panics, simply because Nintendo would have naturally exhausted their options. But how would that Mario look? Knowing that half the things I love about the Mario universe would be gone if one decision in the past was carried out differently is interesting to wrap one's head around. I wonder what the future would be like if things progressed in a different direction for 30 years after that point. But what do you think? How would your favorite moments in Mario gaming be affected by this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning into this alternative timeline. Perhaps you'll enjoy some of these other thought-provoking videos. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.